Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel of crafting, crochet and knitting. My name is Nikki and welcome to my little yarniverse. So hello, welcome if you are a new viewer, welcome back if you're returning. As always, let me know how you're doing in the comments down below. What are you making? What have you been up to? Are you staying safe? Have you been enjoying the weather? So fun fact about the British is that we always talk about the weather because the weather is so bizarre here. It has been both glorious sunshine and snowing in March and April. So yeah, I'm going to show you a picture of that in just a little bit, but I am really out of practice doing these videos, so please forgive me. I've been away and I knew that I was going to be so busy, so I did actually pre-record a few of the videos that you've been seeing on this channel recently, which means that it has been a little while since I recorded a video, and I've done this introduction so many times now. But yes, whilst I was away it was snowing, and so I took this little picture that I'm going to insert now. So that was super exciting, although it did make me think, am I going to be able to make it home if it's snowing? And I did, I made it home, it's been fine. I did worry though that because I knew how busy the last few weeks were going to be, hence the pre-recordings, I worried I wasn't going to get much time to craft either. I did take some yarn with me, just a very simple part of my current project so that I could keep trying to make something, and then I looked back over those videos that I did before I got really super busy and realised I'd actually made quite a lot of progress without realising it. So I do have plenty of my C2C solar system blanket to show you today. So yeah, let's get started. I am just going to show you everything that I have so far because I did only send really a little glimpse of those, did only show a little glimpse of those first panels in a video. I can't remember if I did it last week or the week before, but yeah, I only showed a little glimpse, so I'll just show everything that I have so far in order. And I hope that you enjoy this. I really have been. I've really been enjoying the C2C patterning. I encourage you, if you haven't tried corner to corner crochet yourself, I encourage you to go and experiment because it's been really easy to pick up and it's been really fun. And all you need to do is know how to do either the US double crochet or the UK triple crochet, and the rest is all just chains and slip stitch. So yeah, go and take a look. So I'm rambling. Let's get on and show you some of these panels. So I've been following the pattern by this person up here. I'm really sorry, I keep forgetting their name, but they did the inner planets as small circles and the outer planets as bigger circles with a little bit of detail on them, and as an astronomer I wanted to add more detail, so this is one that I added detail to. This is Mercury. So Mercury is really cratered, and I try to emulate that slightly by having these speckles of different coloured greys in that one. So yeah, quite happy with how that came out. I showed this one last time, I believe, so this is one that I kept as a simple circle because this is Venus. Venus has a lot of atmosphere, quite a deadly atmosphere nonetheless, and therefore when the sun shines on it, it has quite a luminous response. It acts like a mirror, but it's also quite smooth really when you sort of look at it. There's not a lot of detail there from the tops of their clouds. Unlike my next one, now it's not Earth. I haven't done Earth yet because that was one that I did a bit more detail on, and I have been sort of putting it off slightly because I know it's going to be really difficult with like 6 or 7 different strands of yarn. So instead I went and did Mars. So Mars was originally a red circle. I actually added the ice caps because Mars does have ice caps, and also if you look at pictures of Mars, there's kind of a lot more darker red kind of going on in the bottom half of its hemisphere. So if I just, that's, there you go, you can see the red a little bit better there, but that's what we have. obviously it's limited by pixel art, but I'm still quite happy with how it came out, and I'm just glad that I have some texture there. I did once have a picture of Mars I actually took through a telescope of my own, and I'm fairly certain it's on my old computer, so I won't be able to show you it, but if I do manage to get hold of it somehow, I will put it in to show you, and if not, I've just pointed to thin air. Never mind. So I have been making lots of the plain squares as well. You can't really see the colour that well on camera. But yeah, just these ones because it's been very easy to just take one ball of yarn with me and work my way from corner to corner with it. All these other ones have had multiple colours. I'm having to do 6 or 7 or more strands of yarn to do them, so they're quite tricky. But I'm glad I've done it because the effect is brilliant, and I've got probably what my favourite one is so far to show you next, and that is, it's Jupiter. I love this one so much. So the detail that was originally in the pattern was the red spot, but I added these bands as well because when you look at any picture of Jupiter, it's not just the red spot that you see, but it's also the bands, because it just has such a lovely complicated cloud structure with clouds that are higher and lower in the atmosphere, this constant storm that's going on. How could you not put that detail into Jupiter, right? I love it. I'm sorry. I'm being such a physics girl here. But I love it. I love it so much. And it looks really quite like this one looks quite meagre next to it. Is meagre the word I mean? It looks a bit rubbish next to Jupiter. Like, look at that. There's all this detail in Jupiter, and then Saturn looks like a glorified hot dog bun. I wish I'd added more detail to Saturn, because I've got the ring, but Saturn also has this lovely, banded structure to it. And seeing how Jupiter came out just made me regret that I didn't do Saturn a bit more detailed. But I didn't want them all to be super detailed because I wanted to be able to practice the technique before I jumped into it. Uranus, for example, is another one that I just kept as it was because I wanted to keep this quite simple. Just wanted to practice it. I only needed to have 3 strands of yarn, so there was the blue that went this way and the blue that went that way, and then the mint green. But Uranus as well, if you look at it, it's not super detailed. It does actually have a ring structure because it's tilted at 90 degrees compared to the rest of the planets, and the rings actually go from top to bottom, but there wasn't really any room, and it would look like Saturn if I tried to add them, so yeah, I just left that one plain. But I did update Neptune. So Neptune also has some cloud structure going on, and I wanted to add the storm that you get on Neptune, which is the big blue dot. So we have a little bit of cloud structure and then the storm. This is not a constant storm. This sort of occurs every, I can't remember if it was like every 30 years or something like that, but hey, I can't remember it, so you should go and look it up, right? I had such trouble with Neptune because I had picked out 2 blues. I was originally going to use, for the dark colour, a blue that I'd selected for earth already for the water, but then I picked out this lighter blue one, and the light blue it wasn't turquoise, but it was on its way to being turquoise, and it didn't work at all with the darker, duller blue that I had for the water on Earth and for the dark patches of Neptune. So I got every single ball of blue yarn that I had in my stash out, laid them all next to each other, compared them all next to each other, and I just couldn't get 2 that looked right to me, and so this is the best I could do. I had this nice sort of, it's not baby blue because it's got more saturation than that, but it's, that sort of, that colour, that pastel baby blue that people always talk about, like duck egg? Duck egg is another example, maybe? Is duck egg a bit more green than I'm imagining? Cornflower blue, there we go, it's cornflower blue. And then this is more like a steel grey blue, really. It's maybe not shown up on camera quite how grey it looks, but I wonder, no, it doesn't quite work if I hold that one up to it. So, but it is, take my word for it. If you had it just by itself, it would look a lot more grey than it currently looks. I think it's called denim, so yeah, I had to go for that tone because at least these two, I think that maybe this is too dark, but these two were at least the same palette. Everything else just didn't work. So that's Neptune. You might have caught a glimpse of this one when I held it up, but I did keep to the pattern on this one. So this is a comet. I did change the colour, I think. I think the colour originally had grey here and white here, but I went for this instead. I think my logic was that if you've ever seen a comet, the brightest part is up here at the front because that's where the sun is hitting most and that's most luminous, and then the tail gets fainter as it goes. So that was my idea. Fun fact, a lot of comets have two tails. So there is a icy tail and then there is a gaseous tail. Again, go and Google that, check that out. Everything that I'm showing, I'm just like, please go Google it because it's amazing. Astronomy's great. But if I can remember anything about these bits and pieces, I will also comment in the comments if you have questions. I'm happy to answer them as best as I can. Now, my last one that I have to show you, I'm really excited about because I actually designed this one myself. So everything so far I have had a design that I've tweaked, whereas this one I actually went and looked at some photos and tried to pixel art it myself. So the logic behind this one was that the original pattern has a single rocket design, and I am going to follow that design but change the colourway to make one of those. I think the original pattern needs like 3 or something. I only want to make one, and I want to make it in a colourway that actually reminds me of a real rocket project that we have done in the past. And that made me think, are there any other satellites or rockets or spaceship designs that I would really want to put in my blanket as an astronomer wanting to bring a little bit more realism to this project? And that's when I went and found Voyager. Voyager is incredible. Voyager, there were 2 of these and they both went out to the outer solar system. So these, the gas giants I'm showing you, so Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus and Neptune. That was their plan, was to go out to those. Specifically Jupiter and Saturn were some main targets to get some better images of those. But we owe some of our best images of these 4 planets to Voyagers. And they are still like operational to my knowledge, so they kept going past the planet part of our solar system, out of the range of the sun's main influence. So the sun has a gravitational influence, but it also has like a gaseous solar wind influence, and they're now past the solar wind, but they're still within the gravity effect of the sun. So they're still in our solar system, but they are now in what we call interstellar space. So they're now recording gas that's it isn't affected by the solar wind. And so it's just still sending us back data, and I think that that's pretty incredible. So yeah, I'm really happy with this, how this came out. I did design that one myself. I'm quite happy with it, and there is another one I designed, but I haven't made that one yet. So when I've finished that one, I will check in again and talk about it then. But yes, I strongly encourage you to go and have a little look at some facts about these planets and these space programs when I get to them, because they are really interesting, and they're sort of big key ones that you may have heard in the news about one time. And yeah, it's just really, I love the fact that Voyager's still working. So yeah, that is my really astronomy heavy video for the week. But I hope that you enjoy looking at it for the craft, even if you're not into astronomy or physics or anything yourself, because I'm really finding that I was struggling with the crafting, with the creative side, and there's a couple of things I've done recently where I really started to see my passion for astronomy come out in my craft work, and people talk about the creative processes that they go through and where they get their inspiration from and their influences from, and I'm really finding right now that for me those influences and that inspiration is coming from astronomy, and I'm finding new ways to live out the astronomer inside me now that I don't do it as the main part of my career. So yeah, I I hope that you're okay with me indulging in that. I hope that I can bring some different types of crochet, some different techniques to your knowledge, if nothing else. So this was corner to corner, or C2C, and it looks like something that should be really scary, and it's really not. If you can do a US double crochet, or as we call it in the UK, a triple crochet, then you can do C2C. So I encourage you to go and explore that. But I will leave the video there for now because I have definitely spoken for long enough, and I'm going to go and get this video edited. But I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. I hope that the weather decides what it's doing and we get some nice sunshine again. Or maybe not, maybe you don't like the sunshine. I like the sunshine, I'd like to see some sunshine, but if you want snow, then fair enough. But either way, yeah, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope that you stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now, everyone.